Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. In the bottom left here on Data C we have soO playing for the Guangdong Freaks, and in the top right as our red Protoss player, it's none other than Classic. Exactly, a ZVP here on our hands on Data C, one of the many new maps in the new map pool. Data C is an interesting one when it comes to Protoss versus Zerg. So you have a relatively easy initial 4 bases with very simple walls, I would say. I think this is 3 gateways, 3 gateways, this is 3 gateways as well. So 9 gateways and you're completely walled off from the world. Now, of course, that's not what you want. So often you leave a little bit of a hole somewhere so you can still move out. 5th base, however, is very far away here towards the bottom side and also quite far away towards that left side, which makes run-bys once you try and take that 5th a little bit harder. The early game tends to be quite simple for Protoss. It is a slightly larger map than, for example, Waterfall or Inside and Out, and a 3rd base is easily defendable. Can also put on some nice pressure on 4th bases of Zerg that often take the triangle 3rd to start with, and then this one as a 4th base. A couple of stalkers over here can deny some creep. You can get a bit of an angle here as well. A full-out attack is often not something that we see, but small attacks are definitely viable, and that's kind of what I'm thinking we will see out of Classic here, who's opening up with a Stargate in his main base, and also open up with, I believe, a gas first. Now that means that his Stargate finishes a bit quicker than usual, and he also has a little bit more money than you usually do have, because you end up not scouting. Adept is going to stay at home, and this Oracle, well, I'm not quite sure what it's going to do, but should get chrono boosted. Most likely will make its way across the map. Stalker is the 2nd gateway unit here. We have to wait and see if there's going to be a 2nd gateway. I think there might just be. There we go, 2nd gateway is going to get thrown down, as a 3rd pylon is also already being constructed here on the very edge of the main base of Classic. There is an area here where Nidus potentially could do something. It's a tricky area to spot, so it's something we gotta keep in mind. It's a place that a lot of Protoss don't really look at, so really something to keep in mind, especially given how aggressive soO tends to be in the mid game. That really is the phase where he shines the most. Early game, he can be aggressive, but it's often not super tight. Late game, I think he's good. He's very quick mechanically, but players like Dark, Serral, and Raynor really do best him there. When it comes to the mid game, though, his mid game aggression really is second to none. Has lots of units, relatively low worker count, but still 3 base saturation is what we often see. Double Oracles saved up will make their way across the map, are not going to fly through Watchtower vision. Overlords are not properly spread out, and that means that the warning is going to, well, still going to come in time here for soO, I believe. Will be capable of moving his queens into the correct position. We have 2 links over here, just going for a scout. All of this early game was done off of just a mere 4 links. Oracles are going to try and actually get a couple of drone kills, but loses an Oracle for 5 worker kills. Not quite sure if that is worth it. 6 worker kills, 7 perhaps. There we go. 8 worker kills for an Oracle. Well, might be worthy, but I always love keeping my Oracles alive. This Oracle also took a lot of damage. Triple Adepts make their way towards the bottom side, but it's going to get spotted here by this Watchtower. So he's going to be quite happy with that, because there's links in position as well already. Oracle will help out and keep those Adepts safe. Do we have anything at home? 8 more links in production right now for soO. He's getting a quick Evo chamber. These Adepts are not going to finish up their shade. As we see 2 Zealots over here moving into the correct position, will not be capable of being taken out by these links. There's no battery in this mineral line, so I would have preferred if soO actually would have gone for the worker, rather than trying to chase these Zealots into a choke. But it is what it is. soO probably was busy looking for things, making sure that nothing weird was happening. 4th base hasn't quite started yet. Creep spread is rather mediocre as well. So we have some slight oversaturation happening at the 3rd base and some undersaturation happening in the main. Okay, we see that being fixed right now with a couple of drones walking all around. Lair on the way as well after that quick +1. Roach Warren has been delayed for now. We might just straight up go into a Baneling nest at this point. Feels like a Roach Warren at this timing just doesn't make that much sense anymore. These links make their way across the map and are going to come in for a scout. Well, you already figured out there's a baser by having a Watchtower available. Okay, Roach Warren will be built here. We see a lot of creep tumors being constructed as well. And a 4th base on the way for soO. So quicker fort for Classic off of 4 gates. Blink being researched as well, and this is the hero style that people refer to a lot. The hero style is just opening with a bunch of oracles, staying on relatively low gas, very fast forward base, and having a Blink Stalker based army. We see 6 Overlords in production right now here for soO. Could indicate a big swell of roaches, could also indicate that he was supply blocked, and his macro just isn't as tight as it should be. +1 is about to finish up though, so maybe we have a little bit of a Link Flood timing attack here. Not quite sure what the 6 Overlords were for if you're just building links though. See, we have a lot of capacity still for units, and that money could have been spent. Well, soO actually still floating a fair chunk of money here. 800 minerals in the bank as well as 500 gas. That's a lot of cash to be floating in the mid game. Blink is not quite finished. Double Oracle will not be capable of stopping these links completely either. A couple of Stalkers will fall. I think there was 1 or 2 there. Okay, just 1 Stalker went down. 2 Zealots also died. We do have Charge on the way. 2nd Forge as well as the 2-1 upgrades most likely starting now. Armor as well as the +2 attack. Baneling Nest coming down and 2nd Evo Chamber for soO as well. There is potential for a 5th base here for soO. And I'd rather have him take it sooner than later. Even if it's just for that extra larva count. Because he's really struggling at spending his money. He hasn't had any leftover larva for, well, what is it? The past 2 minutes or so. Past 2 minutes actually. And he's been consistently floating about 1k resources. Minerals and gas combined. 5th base could be built over here. Could also be built on the right side. As we see Classic expanding very aggressively. And this looks weird, but it actually makes some sense. If you want to be aggressive with this army comp, you'd like to be capable of falling back into a position. And this base is perfect for that. Build a couple of batteries here, build some cannons. Overcharge battery is going to be possible as well. This is an engagement that I'm not quite sure soO can take off creep. Link's not quite getting the surface area that they want on these Stalkers, but still doing a fine job. Initial trade here seems to be good for soO. Couple of Zealots coming in, but without charge not going to be super useful. Blink Stalker micro out of Classic hasn't been brilliant, but perhaps it's just going to be enough. Without any batteries here, it still is going to be a hold. And that actually surprises me a little bit. I didn't think Classic would die, but I did believe that he might need to give up this base at some point. Right now, soO is going to get pushed back. There's still so much money in the bank here for soO. soO, extremely sloppy when it comes to the macro, and this is why I wanted a 5th hatch. Yeah, it's gonna go down now, but he was floating 2k resources during that entire fight. Ay. That is extremely sloppy. That is extremely sloppy. Don't forget, for every 50 minerals, you can get 2 links. We do that. What is it? You get 40 links for 1,000 minerals. So there could have been, well, a lot more links, basically, is what I'm saying. Either with better injects, or just by getting a proxy hatch, or like a macro hatch, or a hatch at your 5th base, or a hatch at your 5th and your 6th. Like, a lot of wasted potential in the money here for soO. I'm not saying he would have won the fight, but he definitely would have been capable of forcing a cancel there. First banelings are being morphed, I believe. Yep, not a single baneling has gone down yet. Here we have a run by towards this base, but Classic is in position, starts splitting away his Zealots as well. His baneling speed wasn't done yet. These banes will not connect with anything whatsoever. These banes also will not connect with anything, as once again Classic was ready, was in position, quick response out of him. Classic has a fair chunk of money right now as well, by the way, works in 10 Zealots, and is mining from this rich Vespine geyser. So technically he's on 6 gas right now. Well, as long as he saturates it properly. And this is one of the scary points, I think, for Classic, is where you don't have any real late game units yet. You don't have your Archons, you don't have Storm, and your opponent is maxed on a good baneling count with 2-1 upgrades. Hive is on the way as well here for soO, so Adrenal Glands can be on the way relatively soon. Super Battery gets activated. We have a massive run by here towards the top side. That means that Classic can kind of give up this base without too much issue, because he knows he's going to deal some damage over here as well. Right now, soO needs to make a decision, and that decision is give up my 4th base or continue attacking. And it feels like he's kind of splitting off. He's going to lose a couple of drones, 11 drones. Classic also lost 24 probes though, so that seems to be somewhat okay here for soO. Classic will get this hatchery though. Needs to recall these Stalkers for sure. Oh my god, is he gonna get the hatchery actually? More queens moving in. Recall gets activated, and Classic with some massive losses here, down in the resources lost. And this is quite common to see. If you do see Protoss players with the hero style, yes, you have very nice upgrades, but so does the Zerg. 2-1 versus 2-1. Banelings just trade so well, and so do Roaches against pure gateway units. Oh, even Links with these upgrades are pretty powerful. I don't believe that soO should attack again before he gets Adrenal Glands. I think that is an extremely powerful upgrade. that is going to help him so freaking much in the next few fights. With these large link counts, might want to try and run by this base while you're doing like a couple of baneling attacks towards the third. This third base is, yes, this is perfect. This is actually perfect play. This third is super vulnerable. You can even split off a couple to the fourth if you want, but I'm just a huge fan of this in general. I usually prefer if the banelings come from two sides, so that it's harder for the Protoss to kind of walk away. Yep, banelings are going to get the good connections. More banelings moving in, this time towards the fourth base. There's only a single cannon. Classic, are you paying attention? Yes, you are. That means that, well, all of your probes are going to survive, but only 54 left right now. It's kind of painful. Look at how little vision Classic has compared to soO. soO sees basically everything on the map here, has both the towers, knows what's going on base-wise, knows what's going on army movement-wise, and is about to finish adrenal glands. The question that I have, or that I would have for soO, is what is your transition here? Are you going to go into lurkers? Are we going to see brute lords? Or will it be ultra? Or what's also possible is just stick with that army. The problem with sticking with this army is that there's a bit of a timer on you. Now, I do believe that soO has the ability to take good trades, but it always feels worse if you're forced to take trades the entire time, because sometimes it can force you into trades that you don't really want to do. Adrenal gland's not quite done yet. Interesting fight here. We see a Ling run by heading into this area where banelings are trying to connect with these stalkers. Archon's doing a decent job tanking, but in the end, I do believe this is somewhat going to get pushed back. No, it's not. Actually, the 3-2 upgrades really pulling through here for Classic and semi-winning this fight. I'm surprised these links are not in the main fight though. With Adrenal Glands, they definitely would have contributed a whole lot. I'm pretty sure that soO would have won that fight had he had those links over there. And now finally this battery is going to be empty. It's completely depleted. The gateway is going to get taken out. A couple of links. Well, you can't really trade against zealots like this, can you? Not if these zealots have 3-2 upgrade. I just don't think that's possible. These Banes, well, might actually get a connection or two here. Couple more workers will get taken out. soO once again just floating insane amounts of money. This entire game has just been a macro disaster for the Korean Zerg player. There's hardly been a time where he hasn't been floating more than 1k minerals in the past, what, since like the 7-minute mark, honestly. It's actually been insane. Very uncharacteristic as well, because soO is known for having pretty decent mechanics. It also has queens at every base to inject. There's a lot of energy on that one queen though. See that in the main? Must have missed a crap ton of injects. Sure, the game is 14 minutes long, but that is the macro mechanic that is extremely important for Zerg. I would not mind an extra piece of tech here, whether that would be Vipers or Ultralisk. Both I think is fine. Bailey is not going to get the connections with these probes. That is somewhat painful. Battery gets taken out here. Do have a big run by in the main base, but a big warp in as well is going to clear that most likely. And this is a more scary army right now for soO to deal with, because you have these added Archons, you have an Immortal, second Immortal on the way for that backbone in the army. That means that you're going to need to take better fights. Yeah, once again, look at this. The cash for soO just not allowing him to max out when he should be maxed the entire time. That is definitely not good. 5th base is up right now for Classic, and with that Rich Vespine Geyser is going to give him a nice little boost. Also, creep is being denied as well. It feels like Classic actually is getting the upper hand in this game. There was no transition coming out of soO the entire time. Couple of Banes moving forward without a flank though. Don't think you're ever really going to get to these Stalkers. In the back, there we go. These Banes, will they be capable of doing it? This is a good engagement here for soO. Holy crap. He gets absolutely everything targeted down. Lots of Links still alive as well, and only 2 Archons here. Queens on the left side tanking a lot of damage, more Banelings coming in. Oh my god, I thought this looked so good for Classic with the 3-2 upgrades, with the Archon army, but without Storm it seems like you need way more Archons than just 4 or 5. He's going to get completely blasted here. That wasn't even a close trade. I did not think that was going to go that well here for Classic, or for soO, excuse me, but it seems like it did. No more Banelings are with this army right now. That means that Zealot, especially with a super battery, will be capable of trading relatively well. It feels like there's just too many units here for soO. 41 Links against 2 Zealots, against 1 Zealot, against 2 Stalkers and an Immortal. But that is most likely just going to be it. Classic, he fought hard and he tried his best. But that initial fight over here, where he lost so much of his army, I think gave soO a lot of time to really transition into that hive tech with the Adrenal Glands. That helped. And afterwards, I mean, the middle fight just wasn't it. Really just wasn't it. I thought it was going to be it though, so I understand it. The NGG, the no GG out of Classic, or more likely to just be a misclick. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this game, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye bye.